Have you ever sat at the edge of your bed in the morning, wondering why you just don't feel like yourself anymore? Maybe your blood sugar has been acting up again, even though you swear you've been trying to do everything right. Or maybe you've just grown tired of the pills, the constant monitoring, and the never-ending feeling that your body is slipping out of your control. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. Let me tell you something I've learned after over 3 decades in healthcare. Just because you've hit your 60s or 70s doesn't mean your best days are behind you. In fact, with a few simple, natural tweaks, you can start feeling more balanced, energized, and in control of your health again, especially when it comes to diabetes. So today, we're going to talk about 6 simple tips to help manage your diabetes naturally after 65. No extreme diets, no punishing exercise routines, and definitely no gimmicks. Just real, practical habits that can make a meaningful difference. I'm not here to promise miracles, but I can promise this: small changes, made consistently, can be life-changing. Let's start with something that seems almost too simple but is often overlooked: hydration. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Water? Really? But hear me out. As we age, our sense of thirst becomes less sharp. That means it's easy to become mildly dehydrated without even realizing it. And dehydration can cause your blood sugar to creep up because your body starts releasing hormones that increase glucose levels. Just by drinking more water throughout the day, plain water, not juice or sweetened drinks, you can actually help your body regulate blood sugar more effectively. Try this. Keep a glass of water next to your favorite chair or on your kitchen counter. Every time you walk by, take a sip. It's not about guzzling bottles at once. It's about steady, consistent hydration. Many of my older patients have told me that this one change, just drinking more water, helped them feel clearer-headed, less fatigued, and more in control of their numbers. Now, once you're sipping regularly, let's move on to something a bit more hands-on: how you move your body. No, I'm not talking about joining a gym or running a marathon. I mean gentle, regular movement that fits into your lifestyle. After 65, your joints may not be what they used to be. That's okay. What matters is that you stay active. Walking for just 15 to 20 minutes after meals can help lower blood sugar naturally by encouraging your muscles to use up some of that circulating glucose. Even something as simple as gardening, dancing to music in your kitchen, or walking your dog counts. And if you're someone who struggles with balance, seated exercises using a sturdy chair can be just as effective. The goal is consistency, not intensity. Moving regularly helps improve insulin sensitivity and keeps your metabolism humming along. One of my patients, Diane, she's 70, now started doing light stretches and walking laps around her backyard after dinner. At first, it was tough. She had arthritis in her knees, and she felt discouraged. But after a few weeks, she started sleeping better. Her morning blood sugars were more stable, and her mood completely different. She told me, "I feel like I've got my body back." That's the kind of transformation we're talking about. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Now, let's talk food, but don't worry. I'm not going to tell you to give up everything you love. Instead, let's think about adding more of the good stuff. One of the best things you can do is fill your plate with fiber-rich foods. We're talking about things like beans, lentils, broccoli, spinach, and berries. These foods slow down digestion, which helps prevent blood sugar spikes after meals. And the best part? They actually taste good. Fiber also keeps you fuller longer, which means you're less likely to reach for those sugary snacks later. I always say, don't just eat less junk. Eat more real food. The more fiber you get from your meals, the more stable your energy levels and blood sugar will be throughout the day. And here's a little trick. Start your meals with a small salad or some steamed veggies. This helps your body handle the carbs you eat afterward in a gentler way. Your digestive system slows down a bit, and your blood sugar doesn't jump as high. If you're watching this and thinking, "Well, I've tried eating better before, and it didn't help," I want to encourage you to try again with kindness, not perfection. Your body still listens, and it responds. By the way, if you're dealing with other health concerns like high blood pressure, neuropathy, or kidney issues, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you're going through and maybe offer some extra tips just for you. You're not doing this alone. There's a whole community out there walking the same path, and we're here to support one another. So we've talked about the power of staying hydrated, gentle movement, and adding more fiber-rich foods to your diet. These first steps might seem simple, but they are the foundation of long-term control and better health. And trust me, when you start to feel more stable, more energized, more like yourself again, that's when the magic starts to happen. Now that we've got those basics in place, let's move on to another powerful change that might surprise you. You know, there's something powerful that happens when you take those first steps: drinking more water, moving a little each day, and choosing foods that truly nourish your body. It's like the fog starts to lift. You wake up with a bit more energy. Maybe your sugar readings start creeping in the right direction. And for the first time in a while, you feel like you're back in the driver's seat. Now, let's keep that momentum going. There's something I want to talk to you about that's often ignored, especially as we get older, and that's sleep. Not just how many hours you get, but the quality of your rest. Because let me tell you, if your sleep is out of whack, your blood sugar usually is too. When you don't sleep well, whether it's from getting up to use the bathroom, aches and pains, or just not feeling tired at night, your body becomes more resistant to insulin. That means your blood sugar can stay elevated even if you're eating well. And to make matters worse, poor sleep tends to make you crave more sugar and carbs the next day, which only adds fuel to the fire. But here's the good news: you can improve your sleep, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Start by creating a wind-down routine, something simple. Maybe you dim the lights an hour before bed, sip some warm herbal tea, and turn off the TV or phone. Try stretching gently or listening to calming music. Avoid eating right before bed, especially heavy or sugary foods. They can spike your blood sugar and keep your body to alert to rest. One of my longtime patients, Carly's 68, used to fall asleep during the day because his nights were so restless. We made a few changes. He stopped snacking after 8 p.m., put a lavender diffuser by his bed, and started walking right after dinner. Within a week, he said he was sleeping through the night for the first time in years. And wouldn't you know it, his morning blood sugar dropped by nearly 20 points. When your body is finally allowed to rest, it starts healing. That includes better glucose regulation, better digestion, and a more stable mood. You deserve that kind of peace. Now, let's shift gears for a moment, because there's another piece of this puzzle that goes far beyond food and movement. It's something we don't often think about when we talk about diabetes, but it matters a lot, and that's stress. You may not feel like you're stressed out in the traditional sense, but stress doesn't always look like panic or anxiety. Sometimes it's just the weight of responsibility, loneliness, or the uncertainty that comes with aging. The body responds to emotional stress just like it would to a physical threat by releasing cortisol, your stress hormone. And cortisol does something sneaky. It tells your liver to release more sugar into the blood. So even if you're doing everything else right, high stress can quietly sabotage your progress. But here's the beautiful part. Lowering stress doesn't have to mean booking a vacation or meditating for hours on a mountaintop. It can be as simple as carving out a few quiet moments each day. Maybe you sit outside and listen to the birds, or call someone you love just to hear their voice. Maybe you write in a journal, take a few slow breaths, or say a prayer that gives you peace. Anything that makes your shoulders drop and your heart slow down, that's medicine too. I've seen people's blood sugar improve just from finally taking time for themselves. And more importantly, they begin to feel joy again. That spark returns. And when you feel more joy, it becomes easier to make good choices. One woman, Esther, she's 70 for now, told me that every morning she sits by her kitchen window, drinks her coffee, and writes down 3 things she's grateful for. She said it sounded silly at first, but after a few weeks, she noticed she didn't feel so on edge all the time. Her sugar spikes after meals weren't as sharp, and more than anything, she felt lighter, like a weight had lifted off her chest. That's the power of slowing down and tuning in. Your body listens to your emotions, and when your mind feels safe, your body starts healing. So we've talked about sleep, and we've talked about stress. But there's one more thing I want to share with you in this moment. And it's something many people forget about when managing diabetes. It's your gut health. I know, it sounds like one of those trendy topics, but trust me, this one matters. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria. And those little guys are like traffic controllers for your metabolism. When your gut bacteria are out of balance, it can lead to inflammation, poor digestion, and you guessed it, unstable blood sugar. The easiest way to take care of your gut: feed it well. And I don't mean buying expensive supplements. Just add more naturally fermented foods to your diet. Things like plain yogurt with live cultures, a little sauerkraut, kefir, or even kimchi if you like a little spice. These foods help keep your gut bacteria balanced and happy. And when your gut is happy, your blood sugar usually is too. And don't forget fiber again, it's a friend to your gut and your glucose levels. The two go hand in hand. A healthy gut supports insulin sensitivity, digestion, and even mental clarity. You might be surprised by how good you feel after just a couple of weeks of gut-friendly eating. I've had folks come back and tell me they're less bloated, they have more energy, and their numbers are smoother across the board. It's not magic, it's just good, natural care. So if you're sitting there thinking, can these small things really make a difference? I want you to hear this loud and clear. Yes, you don't need extreme measures. You just need consistent care, a little patience, and a lot of self-kindness. Every time you choose to walk instead of sit, to drink water instead of soda, to rest instead of worry, you're telling your body, I care. I'm still in this. And your body hears that. Now that we've looked at how better sleep, lower stress, and gut health can support your journey, let's explore one last powerful shift that can change how you live with diabetes. Not just physically, but emotionally too. So far, we've explored the simple, steady power of movement, how real, whole foods can become your daily medicine, how sleep restores your body, how managing stress can soften blood sugar spikes, and how your gut holds more power than most people realize. But now we've arrived at the heart of it all, something that brings everything together, something that often gets pushed aside in clinical appointments, prescriptions, and lab reports. It's community. Yes, the people around you. You see, diabetes doesn't just affect your body, it can affect your sense of self, your confidence, your social life. Some folks feel embarrassed about checking their sugar in front of others. Some don't want it to be a burden by asking for special food. Others just feel tired of having to explain it all the time. And little by little, that isolation builds. You pull away. You stop going to the potlucks, the family dinners, the walks with friends. Not on purpose, but because it just feels easier. But here's the thing, isolation is dangerous not just emotionally, but physically. Studies have shown that people over 65 who feel connected and supported tend to have better blood sugar, lower stress, and longer lives. And it makes perfect sense. When you feel seen, when someone says, hey, let's go for a walk, or I made this dish and thought of you, you're more likely to take care of yourself. Community doesn't have to mean joining a big group or putting yourself out there in uncomfortable ways. It can be as simple as calling a friend every Sunday just to chat, asking your neighbor to walk with you after dinner, joining a local senior center or online diabetes support group, attending a small Bible study, hobby club, or gardening group, even just talking openly with your spouse or partner about how you're feeling. One of the most moving stories I've heard was from a man named Thomas. He was 72, lived alone, and hadn't told anyone in his family he was struggling with diabetes. His A1C was climbing, and he felt overwhelmed. One day, his granddaughter noticed his glucometer on the table and asked him about it. Instead of brushing it off, he told her the truth, that he was scared, tired, and didn't know how to keep up with all the advice. She hugged him. She brought him a water bottle with time markings on the side. She printed out simple recipes and made a few of them with him on the weekends. Over the next 6 months, Thomas lost 12 pounds, walked every morning, and got his A1C back into a healthy range. But more than that, he smiled more. He laughed again, because what he really needed was to not feel alone. And maybe in this moment, that's what you need too. So if you take nothing else from everything we've talked about, please remember this: you are not alone. Diabetes does not define you, and managing it naturally in a way that feels gentle, human, and true to your life is absolutely possible. Let's take a quick breath and bring it all together. Your 6 natural shifts to manage diabetes after 65. Move your body gently, and often, even short walks make a difference. Choose whole, balanced foods, prioritize fiber, healthy fats, and lean proteins. Prioritize restful sleep. Create an evening routine to support deep, healing sleep. Tame your stress. Use simple calming rituals that help regulate blood sugar. Support your gut health. Add fermented foods and fiber to help digestion and stability. Stay connected. Lean into relationships that nourish your heart and spirit. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to begin. And every choice, no matter how small, is a step forward. So the next time you sip your tea, or step outside into the sunlight, or say no to something that doesn't serve your health, know that it matters. Because you matter. Your future is still being written, and every day, with kindness and care, you get to choose how it unfolds.